just remind yourself that you're a perfectly good person, whether you were the quote unquote wrongdoer or if you stayed with the wrongdoer or whatever your particular narrative is. A step back is usually the best way forward. When you're getting divorced or you're in any kind of traumatic state, think of it as like your thinking brain is co-opted by your emotional brain and you literally cannot make good decisions, right? So you really have to slow down your thinking, give yourself the space to grieve, give yourself grace. I talk about the 5 essential elements of a better apart divorce. And just to touch briefly on what they are: peace, patience, respect, clarity, and forgiveness. Clarity is really what you want. Once you have clarity, you can make better decisions. If you're right now working with a lawyer or a mediator or by yourselves and trying to figure things out, if you're asking yourself, if you're finding that you're perseverating on your position, the what that you want, ask yourself why you want what you want. Because when you can understand your motivation or your need rather than your want or your more surface desire, you're going to find that it's easier to feel satisfied at the other side of that rainbow. There's no pot of gold there, but there is a sense of peace and satisfaction. So getting really clear with yourself about where do you want to go from here? And you know, there's sort of something exciting about that, Tanya, right? Wouldn't you say, like,
Yeah.
once you break free from being kind of stuck in the narrative of what was and all the loss and, pain, you can start to feel and see a little light. And so, like, when I talk about forgiveness, I don't mean forgive somebody who did something terrible to you. I mean to radically love yourself and accept the situation and know that that person, no matter how garbagey they might have treated you or left you feeling, I happen to be of the mindset of people do the best they can in the moment where they are. Their best might be your worst, but maybe, you saw them through the lens of your abilities, not their abilities or something like that, right? So forgiveness is all about acceptance. If I were rewriting Better Apart now, I'd probably call it acceptance, because what I've learned over the last 6 years of talking to many thousands of women and men, nobody likes the word forgiveness. So
I actually, when I talk about the 7 phases of grief, I bundle kind of forgiveness and acceptance together in the sense that it's not forgiveness of a certain person's actions. It is forgiving yourself for the ability to relieve the burden of bitterness. I have the capacity to relieve myself from the bitterness that I feel right now. I'm forgiving to move forward. So I forgive to accept.
that's
It's
right.
not, yeah. So it's forgiving to accept because I don't want to carry that burden of bitterness forward in my post-divorce life, right? So because that's where, like, you divorce somebody and you hold on to the resentment and the bitterness and the anger, and then you might as well just be married.
Right. More happier, not angrier, right? So,
Exactly.
and then, peace. I'm not talking about, peace signs and unicorns and rainbows. I'm just talking about feeling a state of okay. So, there's ways to achieve peace, very quickly, noticing lots of neutral behavior on the part of the person who's doing incredibly aggravating things can be really helpful. It can go a long way. Respect, it's about self-respect. And your feelings of self-respect, depending where you are in your divorce process, can be pretty darn low. And so what I advise you to do, or what I would do if I were in a situation where I'm feeling a low sense of self-respect, is to do things that make you feel good, that you're good at. Be with people who lift you up. If you have a best friend who is just constantly insulting your ex or telling you why you shouldn't have stayed or second guessing you, put that relationship on a shelf and be around people who allow you to grow and to become the next better version of yourself in this life.